Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Dale and Mike is with us too.
Hey Dale, what's going on? I see it's the climate.
Yes, we've been having so much fun. It is the climate, and you may want to know there's a little piece of news right here at the very beginning that the Grants Pass City Council spent almost dang close to $200,000 to come up with a new motto for Grants Pass. You know how it's the climate for many years, and
Ooh.
well, they kind of figured that was getting a little old. I mean, it's going back almost 100 years, and maybe there was something that would be much more modern and keeping up with places like Ashland, because as you know, over in Ashland, they have cute little kite stores and candle shops. We here in Grants Pass have cute little tire stores.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
so they're figuring that perhaps there's some way that we can just be more modern. And boy, after spending close to $200,000 with John Bowen, he came up with something. Well, Mike, what do you think about the motto that we currently have? It's the climate. What do you think about that?
I don't know that I think really a whole lot one way or the other about it. To be honest, it's been here for a long time. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm sort of indifferent about the current thing there. I mean, it's there. I think it's kind of iconic to Grants Pass. Most people know of Grants Pass as being they know that that's when they think of Grants Pass, they may even think of that sign. Who knows?
Well, as the mayor, Darren Fowler, said on the front page of today's
Oh
Daily
no.
Courier, he says this
Jeez.
new motto says more about us than I ever imagined. And here it is.
I thought it was Live Rogue.
Oh no, it's Go Rogue.
Oh, it's Go Rogue?
No, it is Live Rogue, but I like this
Okay.
better.
Oh
Doesn't this
yes.
really say it all? So I think I'll go
Live
to the next
Rogue.
city council meeting and they won't know. I'll just not wear my underwear because that's what go rogue means. When you're going
Oh, okay.
rogue,
I
it's a,
thought that
it's
was going commando.
also go rogue. Yeah, either way. Yeah. So if you're going rogue,
Okay.
don't wear underwear, buddy.
Or
So
if you live rogue, maybe you just don't wear anything. We could have Live Rogue Day where everybody walks up and down 6th Street there with no clothes on. That would be
well,
a one-time event, I'm
no,
guessing.
we have that in the commissioners' meetings all the time. The emperor's not
Oh,
wearing any clothes.
oh yes. Well, that's
And
that's
we're the
something
only ones
entirely
that seem
different.
to be able to see that.
Okay.
The people who can't see that go rogue. I just cracked myself up. The people who
Yes.
can't see that include something I've been noticing recently on our videos. Now, the video from last night, Mike, I don't know if you know this, it got something like so far over 125 views in
Mm,
one day.
mm. Yeah,
That's a
that's
lot.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And then there's something odd that's been happening since the election. Ever since the election now. Who would have thought such a thing was possible? We usually get all likes. People watch, oh, I like that. I actually put a dislike for the very first time on one of our videos. It was the one that wasn't playing back right. Remember when Google was
Oh,
scrambling?
right. Yes,
It's
yes.
the only one after 140 videos. Google screwed it. We didn't do that,
Yeah.
and I put dislike. Now go figure. We had two or three people that liked it. How can you like it? You can't even. It doesn't make any sense. It's blah, 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 blah,
Yes.
but they
Yeah,
still
it's
liked it. That's weird.
it's so bizarre. It cuts instantly to 5 minutes later, and then three
And then
minutes
back
after
again.
that, and then
It's like
yes,
one
it's
of those
weird.
weird movies that can't make up its mind about what
Yes,
timeline it's on. It was
very
very strange.
strange. Very
We had at
strange.
least one person said, I
And
watched it and I was having a hard time understanding it.
yeah, but like 100 people watched that
It's
video.
crazy. Okay, so
Why did they do
I
that?
don't know. So what's been happening lately, and this is hilarious, it to me, since the election, since the levy pushers lost this election,
Mhm.
some of them have been coming on and instantly disliking our show. Now, why do I know it's instant? Because while I don't know exactly who it is, but we think we know who you are, the four of you, what happens is you can tell how long somebody's been watching something. Maybe not that person's name, but you can tell how long they've been. So if you've got you tell me in the audience, if you've got somebody that watches the show for 3 seconds and hits dislike, what is there to dislike?
And then bails out. Yeah,
right.
It's no, that's just silliness. That's just that's like kindergarten stuff, and eventually they'll get sick of doing that, and find something constructive to do.
Hey, but they just go ahead and keep doing it, because since we spilled the beans on you, it doesn't matter, because if we
doesn't matter.
We get
doesn't affect the number of views we get.
No, in fact, it increases them. Thank you.
Half the time, people aren't even aware that there's a like or dislike button underneath the video anyway.
But these are haters, and they just come in and they haven't even seen the show, and they already dislike it.
Yeah, haters gonna hate. That's what
so what happened recently is last night's show that got a lot. It got 4 likes. Oh well, usually we get 2 or 3, and so each time in the past, when there's 2 likes, there's 2 dislikes. 3 likes, there's 3 dislikes. This time, 4 likes, guess what? 4 dislikes.
Woohoo!
It's okay. Just watch the show, because we're well over 250,000 views now, and your views keep counting to our favor. So it doesn't matter whether you watch 3 seconds or the whole thing.
Yes, and here's the message, you guys. The genie's out of the bottle here. It's like you can't stick toothpaste back in the tube. That's what's going on here. So
you lost the vote.
Get over it.
You faked your number of views. Yeah. Now you're faking that you're watching this show. It's just more of the same. Just you lost. That's it. And you've lost. We're the winning team for a decade. We've got nothing to feel guilty about. We're always the winners. So I just say, go rogue.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So,
and they'll be interviewing the person on the corner of 6th and G there. Sir, can you tell me why it is that you're walking down the street naked? Well, I'm protesting the Dale and Mike show. Yes. So
the mayor
actually more effective.
The mayor actually said, "Okay, so here's the now. You tell me if this doesn't look just supremely wimpy to you. Okay, which one do you like best? This one or this one? Here it is.
Well, I'm liking. Yeah, Grants Pass. Oh yes, you got to shrink it up a little bit. Live Rogue. Well, you can hardly even tell the Live Rogue. Wow, that cost $200,000. I'm in a wrong business.
These wonderful pastel colors, like Ashland, okay, and Darren Fowler says this logo for $200,000, almost $200,000, says more about us than I ever imagined.
I agree. I agree with that.
That's great.
That statement. I agree with that. Listen, you know what? This is the this is the embodiment of our argument here against government here, against wasteful, silly. I mean that is just ridiculous.
It says more about us, says our mayor. It says more about us than I ever imagined. You know what? This says stuff I'd like to imagine.
Yes.
This says stuff it's more than the mayor could even imagine. Grants Pass, Live Rouge, Live Rogue, something like that.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Something.
So now's finally the time to retell my story about Bears Live Young.
Oh, okay, yes.
Perfect time.
Right, because, yes, of course.
So I'm at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., and I'm in there looking at the snakes. Oh, they got everything there. Pandas, giraffes, snakes. And there's a sign above the snakes that says, Bears live young. They do. So I start laughing. Almost nobody's noticing. Why is he laughing? I laugh for no reason, apparently. As some of the people on social media, this guy is babbling. Babbling with the facts and the videotape and the documents, but whatever, babbling. And so a little girl says to her, Daddy, is that true? Do bears live young? He's going, I don't know, sweetie. And I'm laughing, and they're looking at me like, why is this guy laughing? And bears live young, bears live young. And he's trying to, and there's a crowd gathering. It was just like a movie. Really, it was. Crowds gathering around. Yeah, what does that mean? Marge, what does that mean? Bears live young? That wouldn't even make any sense if it was near the bears. And it's not near the bears, it's in with the snakes. Bears live young, bears live young. Is that true? So finally, this guy nudges me and said, what are you laughing about? It was like a movie. And I said, it doesn't say bears live young. No, it looks like that's what it says. No, these are snakes. Snakes usually deliver eggs.
Right.
But some snakes deliver live young.
Right, yeah.
This snake bears live young.
Yes. Oh,
so unfortunately,
thanks for saying it slowly, because, man, I was really having a hard time comprehending what
unfortunately,
you were saying.
All three of those words have a double meaning.
Yes.
It was a stupid sign, all right?
No, this is why I said that's obviously live rouge.
Right. Yeah, that's what it says. It says
silly.
Live rouge. Well,
of course.
Here, but...
and of course, rouge, for some reason, Rogue does a weird trip on people's heads in terms of writing it out and stuff. They always are like flipping the G and the whatever around. So
okay, all right. So let's imagine that you were trying to put up a sign, like the ones that have the guy paddling or whatever.
Yes,
be doing that to the kids, but okay, that's not allowed anymore. And you want people to be able to see this quickly. Okay, so first you put up all these pastel colors, right? And then you see the bridge. You can almost not see the bridge, but it's right here. It's almost not visible. Okay.
Wow.
More visible are these huge, crazy mountains in the background.
Yeah, which aren't there in reality, by the way.
No, and
not in this
that
way.
Makes it perfect symbology for showing things that aren't there. Okay. Then it says Grants Pass. Okay. And then down in wording, you'll never be able to read as you're speeding past this sign.
Of course.
Well, then people will slow down, Mr. Matthews. Sure, they will.
Okay. Yes, that makes total sense.
And then you put up.
We have speed enforcement and promotion at the same time. I get it.
So you put up a double meaning word, live or live.
Yes.
Bears live young, do they? And then you put up the word rogue, which most people can't spell. And if somebody's new to the area, they'll go, "What does that say?" So, and you put it in italics at an angle. Italics at an angle. This is that's wonderful design work, isn't it? Worth every penny of almost $200,000, Mike.
I'm flabbergasted, and among other, wow.
And you're not going to be able to see this at all as you're going. It's too small. First of all.
I mean, is this it? Isn't there any variation on this? Don't they come and give a presentation of, well, we have 5 things for you to look at?
Oh no, they did do that. This was the best.
Oh my God.
This was John Bowen. They voted on this, the best one that he presented them. It says more about our city than I could ever imagine. Now, and here's the piece of resistance, the piece de resistance, if you resist.
Right, yes.
It was yesterday's. Do you remember yesterday's headline in the Daily Courier? While we were talking about things having to do with the sheriff and funding and these vital issues, what the levy was all about, with the levy now pushers, some of the levy pushers, the 4 of them I know of in social media, saying, "Oh no, we cannot be talking about that. Let's stop talking about it." So they don't want to talk about this thing about funding. We want to fund. Isn't this ironic? We're the ones that want to fund the sheriff, and they're saying, no, let's not fund the sheriff. And so after all of that, what was yesterday's headline in the Courier? Do you remember, Mike?
I think it was something about a new flagpole at the college or something like that. Yeah, they're dedicating a new flagpole. Oh, by the way, we have a request that you change the picture to like, Pauline is Betsy Ross or something. They find that offensive.
But this is more interesting than that one.
Vivian saying, yes, take that down.
It's terrible. Yeah. I hate those skinny girls. Yeah, I get it. Well, in today's Daily Courier, the headline was, let's see, what was it? There was a story written by Jim Moore,
Mm-hmm.
and the headline was, "Is City picks a new logo?" Headline up top of the newspaper, above the fold.
Did they put the new logo in there?
That's where this came from.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Isn't that lovely?
That's awesome.
Your tax dollars. This is the biggest debacle in Grants Pass recent history. A little bit bigger than the, what was $110,000, $120,000 for each bus stop. This would cost more.
I think you could have had a contest at Grants Pass High School and done better than that for 200 grand. That's really an amazing thing that they would spend $200,000 of your money on something like that. That's just I find that just amazing. I would hope that people once learning of this would then show up at your city council meeting and go, what are you people doing?
Okay, so I got it back to it's the corruption instead. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Are you happy now, Vivian? I hope you are, because this show is for you.
So today is Thursday, and Thursday's when we have the admin meeting. It's the big day.
Oh, good. Yes.
Of the year. No, it's not the big day of the year. It's the big day of the week where the real action takes place, and then the commissioners get together. This is about local politics. Then they get together and they take their ceremonial votes in the weekly business session and act like they're surprised. So the biggest news of all that came out of this top of the news for today was, Mike, what opinion did you come up with about the commissioners and their feeling, brought up by Peggy Goodwin? Vivian will like this, with a safe picture in the background. I don't know about this being safe, but that is. And what was your opinion about the commissioners, and did they want to spend any money at all from the road fund, although they could? Did you feel that they had made up their mind on that subject?
Yeah, I pretty well had it in mind that they were pretty solid on that after watching the budget meeting video and the final budget meeting video, when Margaret Goodwin argued for using $1 million of the road funds to fund the road deputies. I thought that was a pretty good idea, but it was immediately and forcefully put down by Simon Hare, and Keith didn't really seem to say anything.
He grunted.
Yeah. Oh, he grunted. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was kind of disappointed in that, and he didn't really say anything to make me think that he had changed his mind yesterday.
And when she came back saying, well, how about $500,000? Remember, that's 1/16, according to the commissioners, of their money that's in reserve. It's not going to touch the daily road funds. This is money they've been saving aside. Remember the money that they've been telling us all along, we don't have any money in reserve?
Mm-hmm.
This is money in reserve. And it can't possibly be spent because it's already spoken for. The state says, yes, you can. And, well, there's no precedent. Well, that was done 2 years ago. So they're liars. They're just liars. The funniest part to me is how some of the levy pushers, not all of them, because some of them are pretty upset because they actually wanted funding for the sheriff. Some of the levy pushers are saying, oh, no, we can't do that. You never were for the levy, were you? Really? It wasn't about the levy.
Yeah, so, I'm finding that amazing, all of the pushback from people when you offer up this option, and they'll give you a 5-paragraph list of why you can't do that. It's like, wow, do you want some funding or not? You're fine when it comes to ripping it out of people's back pockets. But when it comes to just taking it out of a different fund in government and putting it over here and letting them use it for rural patrols, oh well, it won't last long enough. We won't have time to hire a deputy and train him and all this kind of stuff. Listen, you take the money, you put it over there, allow them to start using it, and then, certainly with the existing deputies that they got, they can add a couple of shifts. I know they can do that. They've recently cut back some shifts. They can add more hours. They're at what? They're not doing 24 hours a day. Give it 24 hours a day with the existing staff that you have. Okay, do that. There's no problem with that.
Why, Mike? Why? These levy pushers say they don't want to do it.
This is about government funding yet again. This is, they want a solution that means money out of my pocket into governments. That's the solution that they want. They don't care about anything else. They don't want any other kind. Well, you know what? They'll take a government handout. If the federal government would drop $20 million on us, they'll take that. But what they really, really want is for you and I to get a tax increase. That's what they want. That's what they're pushing for.
I can understand why the commissioners would not be happy about this because they don't get their 10% skim. But why would the strongest of the levy pushers, not all of them, many of them are very good people, just misguided, and they lost too, but why would any of the levy pushers, oh, it's an emergency situation, I need money for the sheriff, why would they now say, oh, here's some money, it's available, it's okay, we've done it in the past, state says it's okay, we know that it's extra, it's not going to affect the roads, and it's going to be replenished by the state? Why would they not want to do it?
Yeah, well, they have all these excuses, but here's the sequence that I would do it in. First, I would take the money. If I'm the sheriff, I'd take the money. Then, number two, you immediately begin lobbying the state to extend this thing beyond 2016. Because it's obviously a viable solution. Lane County's been using it. There's other places that have been using it. It's a workable solution in the short term. It's not exactly what you want. What you want is to be able to reallocate the funds without somebody telling you it's okay. I mean, that would be ultimately the better thing to do, but we don't have
Mike,
that.
you were there once you turned the camera off when I said to the sheriff, well, what about that? He says, well, we need long term. I said, look, instead of 5 deputies for 1 year, and even if you had to train them, which they don't have to do because they've got others who have been there, said, hey, we're willing to come back, okay? And they're already trained. But let's suppose that they weren't. Instead of 5 deputies for 1 year, you have 2 deputies for 2 years. You take the money, you put it into this for a 2 years, or you give him enough money, and he decides to split it in 2 parts. Hey, he could split it into 18 parts, okay? He decides to split it into 2 parts. We're funded. And he said, yeah, I'll take 2 deputies. Well, then why are you arguing against this? Well, okay, maybe you got a point there. The surprising people to me are the ones who are, the children and the drug houses. And remember the little kid with his head, I have no place to go, I have nothing to do. And here we've got this chance, and they don't want to do it. So what's their motivation?
Okay, yeah, it's a good question, but I believe that politics is now changing their minds because we have put this out there en masse, and a lot of people are reacting to it, and not many people are coming to their aid on it. Vivian just sent me this.
Oh, Vivian, you're part of the show now.
Yes, she's part of the show. She's like the third host.
Oh no, everybody's going to be sending you text mail. Oh geez.
SRS funds came in today, and they will be reworking the budget. I went through some of the pages of the budget and told Simon they can afford to shift that over to the sheriff. He says he will try, but need to convince. But we'll need to convince the rest of the commissioners and the budget committee.
What?
I just saw him at 5:30. This is what she's saying. He's going to try to do $1 million. And have them spend $500 this year and carry forward the other $500 for next year, since they got 2-year SRS funding. Nobody expects long-term jobs anymore.
They knew this money was coming in. They already knew it was coming in. He knew it when they were having the budget committee. We hadn't received it yet, and we still haven't.
Right. Well, and I hope that he's not going to try. and because this makes it sound like they're going to take road dollars and do this. No, I'm hoping that in addition to whatever they're doing here, they go ahead and take the maximum amount of road dollars out of public works and put it over with the sheriff's department.
So
It's the right
here's
thing
what
to
he said.
do. You know it's the right thing to do. I know it's the right
Yes.
thing to do. Everybody else knows it's the right thing to do. Let's get with it. Come on.
He said everything. He didn't say this thing of "I'll try to convince the other commissioner." Simon, you were leading the way. What's this? I'll try to convince the other
Yes,
commissioners.
right. No,
Oh,
that's true.
man.
And he may be, trying to lead Vivian down the path there. We don't know.
Well, that's disingenuous, buddy. Okay, so what he said in two parts. I love this. The first part, you just got to stop and laugh. First, he said, "I'll be honest."
Yes.
Okay. He said, "I'll be honest. My mind isn't made up." Simon, you had a chance. Look, here's the other thing. In order for them to change the budget, to give more money to the sheriff, didn't they tell us during all this that they can change any individual part of the budget? Not the whole thing. They can change any individual part of the budget 10%.
Mm-hmm.
So if they were going to give the sheriff how much money? And they changed that 10%, that's not even $500,000. So how are they going to do that legally? He's never let that stop him in the past. He just was telling Vivian at 5:30 that, oh, I'm going to do what I can to convince the other commissioner. Simon, you're a danged liar, buddy.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. You know what? This is funny. Yeah, but I got to tell you, politics, it's a fluid thing, and I'm reminded of the words of Milton Friedman. And I'm paraphrasing here.
Isn't he that guy that had that comedy show in the 50s?
No.
Oh, that was Milton Berle. Yeah.
Yes, right. That's somebody different. Milton Friedman is a famous economist. He was basically, very libertarian thinking early on there. But essentially what he said is that it's a fallacy to believe that you have to put the right person in office. What you have to do is make the wrong person understand that it's politically profitable for them to do the right thing. And we have exercised and proven this principle on a number of occasions. If they understand that, guess what, pal? You're putting your own head on the chopping block. They will, once they realize this, pull it off and rescue themselves. Simon Hare is especially good at this. And so I'm hoping that he continues to see the light and see that, guess what? We're putting this story out in social media big time, and it is getting out there, and people are I've never seen anything shared as much as these stories are. I'm getting the share notifications. Wow, I've never seen that, because people are going and they're obviously, have feelings about the levy one way or another, and they're going, well, wait a minute here. I thought there was some kind of an emergency. They were trying to sell us on this. Hey, Joe, look at this. Or they're putting it on their page for all of their friends to see. So this is a big deal, and I hope they understand that going forward here. There's a place, there's an opportunity to put you in a better situation politically, and so take advantage of that opportunity and do the right thing.
And there's a note for our loyal viewers. None of this, absolutely zero, is in the Daily Courier.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And also, the other story that we did about, the sheriff's reaction to all of this, nobody else is covering that at all. No one has even bothered. I mean, the Courier has probably easier access to the sheriff than we do. They could certainly go there and say, hey, what's your reaction to this or whatever? And what's your 2 cents on whether or not road dollars should be used? They could easily get that story.
They do not want the story. The blockage is by one person and his editor. That's Jim Moore. Jim Moore does not want to tell you the story.
Amazing to me, just amazing.
Instead, college dedicates new flagpole. Yes, let's stand up and cheer.
Well, and you know what? To me, that just either stinks of laziness or diversion. One of the two.
Which do you think?
you would want to hope that these people are just lazy and they're just, but
Is this not a news story? Not at all?
I
Didn't we
think
just have an election?
Yeah, I think they have a policy there that they just don't do anything negative as it relates to county government unless it's, against Sandy
Sandy
Casanelli.
Casanelli. Right.
Yeah,
They did that all the time. She would
yeah.
sneeze. Oh, this is nothing to sneeze about, Sandy. Oh, give me a break. When they were doing their little videos, because occasionally they put up videos, okay? And I had never seen anything like this. On their video news story, they put a telephone number of how you could reach Dwight Ellis and those guys to help recall Sandy Casanelli in their news story.
Yeah, it's amazing. That is
Did
amazing.
they do that about Cheryl Walker? No.
No.
That's the Daily Courier. Why are you reading the Courier? We'll read it for you. We'll tell you what they say. College dedicates new flagpole.
And I personally, I've said this before, I'm in favor of not mentioning them on the program or the other media outlet.
What other medium?
Right, there you go. And the thing is that if we had more resources to cover more of the other stories besides politics, we would be handing these people their lunch on a daily basis.
We still are. Okay, so
yeah,
Mike brings up an important point. We wanted to be sure to tell you this. So when I was in the weekly business session, we're going to have to come back to this at another time because we can't even talk about Thursday now. When I was in the weekly business session watching these supposed representatives decide our future for us, Mike was out in front with the sheriff, and he brought out his cell phone. And yeah, it was a little bit of this, but he got this guy on video, and it looked good. Okay, and it sounded pretty dang good too, without a microphone.
Yeah, I'm really pretty impressed with his phone.
He's impressed with himself, and he should be.
Yes,
okay,
right,
so
yes.
What Mike and I have said is, if you're out there and you see something happening, a burning building. I'm not so interested in that, to be honest with you, but okay, if it's about burning building, because it's, Harry Mackin set the fire or something. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'm kidding. You know that. So he's not the public figure. It's Diane Mackin who's the public figure. So if they're out there, and if you're out there and you have a camera with you and you shoot a still, we've put those on. Or you shoot some video that's usable and interesting, and not just somebody ranting and raving like we do.
Now you're going to have to put like an email contact link on the webpage or something.
No, they're going to call you. We're going to hand you Mike's private number.
Yes. Thanks so much. Yes, because
I want how to get hold of us. We're not that hard to find. So, although Mike keeps changing,
even though we don't have an email link anywhere, and
and there's
and Mike Jones, what kind of a name? That's clearly a stage name.
Right.
Obviously, wouldn't be my real name. That would be stupid.
Know how to do it? Okay, all you have to do is come to a weekly business session or any meeting of the county government. Where am I going to be? Really, where am I going to be? And that Mike Jones is going to be watching social media because that's where most of the action is. He says, it's not on KJO. There's nothing happening there. They're not even reporting the news.
Who?
You go to social media.
Who?
Yeah, right. You're right.
Yes.
Josephine County Politics. Okay, now all of the crazies from Pro Levy will go there. Okay, just go right ahead, dislike everything.
I don't care. You know what? I don't care. Listen, we had somebody, trying to, be obnoxious in there today.
This guy crazy.
And it's, what, you just, people are going to come in and do what they're going to do, and you try to be nice and you try to be friendly and let them get it out of their system. And if they get real obnoxious, you tell them to go away and come back tomorrow. We let everybody speak, unlike many other, places where perhaps there is not an open forum. This is an open forum. And I think, it's probably dominated. I would say that it's probably dominated by people that are generally no on the levy types, but that is comprised of all different flavors of political stripe there. So Yeah, feel free to come in there and send me a message or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you come, as I said, to any of the county commissioners meetings. You know I'm going to be there. Where else am I going to be? Well, yeah, I could be in many places, and this is volunteer and everything else. No, the strange part about this guy that was doing that was he was trying to cut off all discussion. That was what he was about. He kept saying, "Well, that's enough of this. Let's move on. That's enough of this. Let's move on." The same phrase again and again and
Yes.
again. And no matter what anybody said, "That's enough of this. Let's move on. That's enough of this. Move on." Well, why doesn't he move on to a different place and talk about something? No, he just kept saying like a robot. He must have said it what 10 times.
Whatever. Next topic.
Like a mental breakdown. Yeah. Next topic. So keep in mind that you're out there and you're our community reporters, just like the people that felt pro or con about the levy. There were a lot of good people on the pro levy side. There were a lot of good people.
Oh, absolutely.
Led by some bad people, but okay.
Yes, listen. You never want to impugn the motives of some people.
We're on the same side about funding the sheriff. Come on, we're on the same side.
Yes, they were. There was a lot of people that really just cared about law enforcement. They didn't realize what was really happening here, So
they didn't realize what some of their leaders were doing in their name. And there was a letter to the editor yesterday. See, so I do look at the Courier, but I look at it so I can tell you about it. And the guy said, I think it's kind of a shame. I was going to vote for the levy, and then I realized I'd actually signed a petition to get the levy on the ballot. Okay. He said, then I found out that the gentleman who convinced me to sign to get the levy on the ballot lied to me. Really? No, this is a turnaround from this guy. He signed the petition. He said, because they told me that all of the money would go to the sheriff. And he said, I later found out that the commissioners were going to skim off 10%. Aha. We've been telling you that. And one of the potential reasons why they're doing this unreasonable thing now about not funding the sheriff, they don't get 10%. What was their motivation for funding the sheriff? If it was about safety, they would, but they don't get their 10%.
Yeah, that's a disturbing thing. This is why, we had this conversation yesterday where we wonder about the motives of these people and why it is that they're doing what they're doing. And, it makes you ponder. I mean, you don't want to think that these people are actively working against you. But I don't know, and that may be the case. It's hard because we're not fly on the wall in the smoky back room there, where they're having conversations amongst themselves, where there is no pretense anymore. They're openly speaking whatever is actually going on. You want to be a part of those conversations and learn what is really motivating these people, because we're wondering, like, what the hell are you doing? Especially
I'm sitting out in the hallway.
Thing,
I'm sitting out in the hallway because they lock us out. They used to let us in a few minutes early, and now they often let us in right at the very last moment, sometimes even while they're beginning to talk. And so I'm out there with sometimes a couple of citizens. Usually it's just me. I can hear them in the room talking. Okay, I can't make out the words they're saying through the closed door, but I can tell they're talking, and every once in a while they start talking loudly. You can tell just from little bits and pieces, they're talking about county business. They don't even pretend anymore. They keep that door closed until they can discuss a little bit about what's going to happen in the meeting, and then they open it, and then they suddenly shut up. They're breaking the law. We need to replace these guys.
And they don't care.
No, Keith said it. There wasn't any doubt in his mind. He said, I know we're breaking the law. He didn't have any doubts. And I don't care. 3 times. He doesn't care. Do you?
I don't care.
Oh, right. Nice. So anyway, okay, so we're going to have to suffer through this for, honestly, about a year and a half. Because even, there's the May primary, and then there's the November election, and then you don't take office until the first week in January. So it's going to be a while. Right. But what we can do is we can deprive these kind of cheaters from money, from all that money. And even though they decide, and we're going to talk to you maybe Saturday, about what happened today, and there's a couple of examples of things where you're going, what are you thinking? Why would you do that? Why would you spend the money that way? We're going to leave you with one more. this this made Mike's. It's probably not going to happen now, but it's made his head spin around, and he spit out pea soup.
Hmm.
And that's when the commissioners agreed that they need to see the HR director more often.
Hmm.
That's the human resources director. Tell them why, Mike.
Well, apparently they need to hire more people. Yeah, and this is just the mind blower for me. I think that we're in a situation right now that the most compassionate way to make government smaller is to make it smaller by attrition. When people leave, you don't replace them. Okay, that shrinks the budget. That's what you do if you're hanging off the fiscal cliff by your fingernails. This is the kind of thing that you do, and they've used every analogy possible to make us understand that this is really, really serious, people. And so,
Mike, when they're stuck to the flagpole with their tongue.
Yes, right.
They haven't used that
to
one.
The frozen flagpole.
When they're stuck to the frozen flagpole.
The fiscal flagpole. I'm stuck to the fiscal flag. Yeah, that doesn't really work.
That's the one that's on the cover of the Courier above the fold. Okay. Yes. When they're at that spot, who's the last person that gets more staff? The sheriff.
Yeah, well, yes. No, that is true.
Remember
that is true.
This is all about the sheriff.
And that's a fantastic illustration because they got plenty of money to buy new equipment. They can buy new HD cameras and switching systems that they're apparently never going to install, by the way. I mean, for geeks like Dale and I, as soon as the boxes arrive, we'd be opening them and taking the old stuff down. That's what geeks do. So they apparently don't have any real geeks working for them. And then, so they can hire all kinds of people and bump their salaries up to that, which is commensurate with the, what people should be paid, whatever. And so that just costs more and more and more and more money. And, they don't seem to care about that. So here we are.